Hi there, welcome to this week's video at Bath Garden Center. My name's Elise, and this week we're going to be talking about our fall prep for our perennial garden. Last week we talked about our fall prep for our vegetable garden, and this week we're going to talk about that perennial garden, the stuff that comes back year after year. What you're going to have to remember is that there's not a lot to do during fall. This is just the prep you do before that first frost, and a little bit's going to go a long way for you. So let's go ahead and break it down into steps. Just like last week, our first step is going to be to take a walk around before we touch anything. This is so that you can assess what's happened over the season. Something may have been damaged by pests, it may not be doing well in the area it's growing, or you may take a look at the ground and realize you need way better draining soil, or maybe you need to add mulch. The second thing that you're going to do is ruthlessly weed that area. Remember that things go to seed, and seeds can easily overwinter and pop up immediately first thing next spring. Third thing we're going to do is clean up diseased or damaged foliage. If something's been ravaged by pests this season, you may actually need to cut it down to ground level or as much as possible. If not, you should probably leave it alone. There's a lot of really healthy perennials that add visual interest to your garden over the winter, and they provide homes for beneficial insects and food for birds. Then we're going to fertilize things if you have to. Remember that things are getting ready to go to sleep for winter, and fertilizing usually makes things grow, so be selective with what you're choosing to fertilize. And the last thing that we're going to do is selectively mulch some of those perennials. Things that are frost tender, maybe like your roses, might appreciate a little bit of mulch around the bottom, although a thin layer will probably do it. You don't want to retain too much water and cause root rot. Probably a rose collar would be better for roses anyway, but if you've got some other bushes and things like that that are especially exposed during the winter, now would be a great time to protect them. Something to remember is not to get overzealous with your pruning this time of year. Only prune it if it's diseased or damaged. Really, what the plant's doing right now is moving its nutrients around and getting ready to hibernate, so you don't want to accidentally cut off a stalk that's got a lot of energy left in it for your plant. So now that you've got your perennial bed all prepped and ready, you can go ahead and plant your bulbs that are going to come up first thing next spring. Bulbs can be planted as soon as nighttime temperatures reach between 40 and 50 degrees. And the general rule is to avoid areas where water collects. Bulbs do not love wet feet. Something fun to keep in mind is when you're looking at the front of the package, it tells you what time of spring they bloom in. So what you can do is go ahead and plant out maybe a sequence of things that are going to bloom. Crocus, go first, so maybe you could put some crocus in, and then maybe you could put something in that blooms in mid-spring or early spring again, like these daffodils, and you can stick in some hyacinths and tulips. And to plant them, what you're going to do is look at the back of each little bulb package. It's got instructions on there. Make sure you're following the depth recommendation on here and the spacing recommendation. And then you're going to plant your bulb with the root side down. You're usually able to tell because it's got its little root spindles at the bottom. Point that side down and plant it. If you're really not sure, you can lay it on its side, and most of the time it will still come up for you. Then after you've got your bulbs all planted, what you're going to do is maybe take a little bit of compost, mix it in with that dirt, cover everything over, press it in very lightly, and give it a really good watering. And now your perennial garden is all set and ready, and you're ready to watch it bloom and be beautiful next spring. And just remember that a little bit really does go a long way. Fall prep is just about making sure that everything looks nice and is prepared for the garden to come back to life the following season. So just remember that you're going to take a walk around, look at your plants, pull those weeds out, make it look nice, fertilize things if you have to, prune things if you have to, and then remember to mulch things and get them ready for the cold. Thank you for watching this week's video. We hope you feel equipped to go out in your garden and do some work, and hope that you'll tune in next week to see what we have in store. See ya.